Hi, everybody. We are here for the British Online Rapid Championships. We are going to now cover rounds 1 and 2. And then a little bit later on, John Ems and Chris Ward are going to cover the final rounds, I think 5, 6, and 7. So we're going to get it all covered except for 3 and 4. So let's hope all the action happens in rounds 1, 2, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and here is Grandmaster Matthew Sadler.
Hello, everyone. So,
the WM Natasha Regan.
Yeah, so I have control of the screen today, so we'll see what that leads to. So, yeah, these are the opening pairings. We've got round 1, Keith Arkle against Frankie Badaccioni. Then we've got Richard Pert, winner of the Online Blitz Championship yesterday. Very fine performance, playing Philip Orgler. Brandon Clark, who came second, joined first on points, but second on tiebreak, playing Andrew McGettigan. Nga Dongbao, who had a great start to the Blitz, beating Matty Turner in a very convincing game, though he fell away a little bit. He's playing Edison Su. Yichin Han, playing Freddie Gordon. Yichin Han, very convincing qualifier to the main British from the qualifiers. Chris Duncan, Drunken Knight against Chavez Ali. Jonathan Blackburn, we saw him playing as well yesterday against Raghav Vaida. And then David Walker make an entrance against Pavel Murovsky. And let's also mention one of our favourites, Harry Grieve, playing against Indy Southcott Moyers. So there are quite a few interesting games there, and actually it should have started. So let's have a little look there. I'm just going to go.
It has started. Keith Arkle has started against
Keith Arkle. There we are. Okay, so let's start from the top. D4, Keith is white, Frankie is black. D4, E6, offering a French defense, but you won't get that against Keith. Knight F3, Knight F6, C4, and Bishop B4 check. So the solid Bogo-Indian defense for black. Following pretty well-known theory here, I think Keith's played this a lot as white. So bishop takes c3, bishop c3, knight e4, rook c1. These are 10-minute games, by the way, so pretty nippy all the same. Knight takes c3, rook takes c3, castles, bishop g2. Now, I do think, actually, doesn't black normally play a very quick d6 and e5, even before castling? I'm not sure about that, but I think there was some subtlety involved in that. But okay, I mean, in principle here, black is going to go d6 and e5 and try and get white to play d5. And then we've got some sort of block center position where, yeah, I mean, white's got some can sort of play with c5 on the queen side, but black will get a little bit of counterplay with f5. So I would say, yeah, I mean, d6 is normal here. I'm just wondering whether white can, in this move order, can throw in a very quick d5. And I think, does black play knight d8 here? I think I've seen this before, and then you've got to choose with white whether you go castles when black could go e5, or whether you want to play d takes e6 here and try and get this sort of structure. You know, knight takes e6. It's a little bit like a Budapest. Just a nice edge for white. I would have thought that a position like this would appeal to Keith very much. You know, this bishop's quite powerful, bit of a space advantage, nice square on d5. But black's very solid as well. So, Keith has gone d5, but black has gone e takes d5, which I think looks, well, feels wrong to me.
Keith will be happy with that, though, because he likes getting his pawn going towards the center, and that c pawn could end up a little bit weak, couldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, the c pawn's very weak there. You really shouldn't take on d5 there. I think either knight d8 or knight b8 are possible moves there, but I think knight d8 having the preference. But this is yeah, a little bit dodgy because I think you're going to end up putting your knight on a6, I think, to cover c7. Or I mean, you could move the knight back to b8 and go c5, or knight d8 back c5, but it's not very nice, not very nice at all there. So yeah, I think Keith already got quite a nice advantage there. Let's have a little look at the B unit. Oh, wait a minute. It's there's
Brandon. Look at Brandon.
he's Beringham.
Brandon.
Yeah, wait a minute. I can't do that. One moment. I'll just let me just do that. Actually, let's have a look at Antidrome first of all, because he's on board too. Has that not started yet?
Yes, it has. No, sorry, it hasn't. I didn't get that one. But I've got Harry Grieve already, and I've got Brandon Clark already.
All right, we'll have a look at Brandon Clark then. The Ranidun, it's not really one that you can remember very well. Oh, okay, so we've got a Caracal here, advanced Caracal. Knight f3, so this is the short system. Many ways of playing with black. I mean, there's been a lot of attention on C5 systems, sharp C5 systems, really trying to equalize immediately. This one is a much more solid system from black. Just, I mean, you've got a bit of a logjam on the king side here because you've got a bishop on f5, and then you've got a pawn on f6, stopping the knight from coming to f6. So black needs to do a little bit of rearranging with the stuff. Knight c8, e7 to c8, the knight could come out to b6. So white plays the pawn to a5 just to stop that. And then black plays a6 yeah, I guess just to give the knight possibly an escape square to a7, where you can play c5 and knight c6. But now white playing quite aggressively here with f4. And yeah, g4 and f5 is a big threat here.
Yeah.
So yeah, white's got to decide black's got to decide what to do here. It's possible that you could look at f6 here. Not 100% sure about that. F6, and if g4 we go bishop g6, and if f5 we go bishop f7. We're sort of absorbing the pressure, but of course there's pressure on e5, for example. It's not. This is this is tremendously unclear actually. I mean, something like knight d3. Ideas are going fe and knight e4, and we're also protecting this one. So I mean, this could be a really complicated old game. The only problem is that this knight is really appalling on c8. It's really not a happy piece there. So yeah.
So started quite well for white then, I guess.
I think so. I mean, in principle, I would say that this is that this has gone quite nicely for white. I don't know whether you're always wondering whether there's sharp stuff that you can do, sacrifice. I mean, you could go h6 as well, but instead of f6. But I think you can still, very definitely give g4 and f5 a go. Yeah. And I mean, you're looking quite strong, really. I think if I was black, I'd definitely be trying to make this work, because at least you've got some. You're hitting back at the white position somehow, so you're putting some pressure. But I mean, yeah, the problem is even something like c5. I mean, you could even just go c3, just apart from other things. And because if you go c4, I go knight f4, and then I'm coming into e6, which is yeah. I mean, this is looking quite difficult for black already, I think.
Nice, and just.
It's surprising actually, because you think, oh well, I've got my bishop outside the pawn chain. How about that? That's a big improvement. But then all it does is get hit by these onrushing white pawns. But white's played this pretty well actually. So yeah, side problems for black there. Let's see whether we can follow Antidrome again.
Freddie and Itchin game. We will get to that very, very soon. Actually, we're just working down.
Yeah, let's have a look at Edison Xu. What he was? Oh yeah, EDI 988. He was something much more.
Hi, Decoder.
Hey, Decoder. I'm using one of the keys on my keyboard. There we are. What is that? I guess this was a. Oh, okay. It was. Bishop f4 by Edison against Guédon. Yeah, d takes c4 is always strong against this. So a little bit surprised that Black played so solidly, because this was, yeah, this is just quite a nice position. Knight h4 is a weird one, but I guess, yeah, I'm just looking to play f4, and that's a slightly strange way of playing, but okay. And then knight ed5. Yeah, Black's also playing a little bit strangely here, because this is just lovely for white. It's an absolute dream position for white with the control of the dark squares. Lovely square on e5 for the knight. So yeah, it's a clear advantage for white, this one. So looking quite good so far for Edson Ksu, who played a great game against John Spielman actually in during the in the Blitz, and actually just before a final blunder, he was actually winning a piece. So
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah,
he played a lovely, a really weird gambit as well in the Caracan. So very creative game. Well, okay, what's happened here? This was a London system. So they always do this: bishop g3 in reply to bishop d6, c3, knight c6, rook d1, queen c7, e4, and yeah, Black just actually going for the old exchange route here, which you don't see very often, but actually here seems to have worked out quite well. With all these things, you're always wondering a little bit, was bishop takes h7 possible? But I'm guessing not in this case, because king h7, knight g5, you just come king to h6, and really this bishop's on the wrong diagonal. It should be on a different one. The only, you know, just have a quick look at it. Just show you what happened in the game, just to. But this is, yeah, this is fairly even. I mean, the only thing that's a little bit dangerous, well, maybe we shouldn't say just the only thing, it is quite dangerous, is that rook takes h6 is a possible trick. So you've got to watch out for, you know, for possible rook g4s. But I would have thought that simply rook d8 here would be possible. Rook h6, I take on d4. So what
about rook d8, then rook g4?
Rook g4, that's right. That's the best move. And then, well, then we're actually completely lost there. So probably what we need to do is to go something like, maybe we need to go queen c5 here to sort of stop rook g4, and after rook h6, I take queen h6. Let's have a look.
So rook h6 takes rook g4. Oh no, sorry, don't worry.
Queen h7 there. So so I guess queen h6, and then got to watch out a little bit here. I can go queen f5, and then you could go rook h4. You could go f3 to support rook g4. Or I've got queen e5 to g7. Maybe queen e5 to g7 simply is the best one. And after queen h5, then I go f5, and you're never going to do anything again. That is probably going to be the best way. I mean, there must be a way to deal with this. I mean, these positions are quite well known, really. But it is a little bit tricky. I mean, the only one thing I'm wondering about is, could we, after queen c5, go... Yeah, I was wondering about something like b4, you know, just to chase the queen off the c5 square, and then we could have a rook h6. But I mean, we've got stuff like queen f5 when we've got, you know, checks coming in here. So I would have thought this would be awkward, and I think we might maybe even threatening e5 here at some stage, just to you know, just to do that. So I think that's probably nothing special, really. I mean, one thing I was wondering about, you know, c takes d4. I mean, you're always wondering about this one, of course. I mean, in principle, this doesn't look good because, but I mean, if you went back to g8, I'd have queen h5, and or actually probably, Okay, queen h5, and then you've got to go rook d8, because if you go rook e8, then I get this extra resource, which is going to be good with rook h3. So you'd have to go rook d8 to be able to take back on d6 with the rook. And then the question is whether white's got anything here. Maybe you don't.
What if you... Oh, I was talking about putting the rook up to d3.
Yeah, it feels a little bit slow somehow. You know, we've got... Yeah, feels a little bit slow. Maybe okay for a blitz, but probably for a rapid, just a little bit too much, I think. So b4's been played, and now queen f5. So, yeah, I don't think white's got any real advantage here, because I think, you know, if you castle rook d8, well, maybe I can go rook d1 and claim I've got the d file, but it should be holdable for black. You know, I mean, Keith gets these sort of structures all the time and does well with them, of course. So with black, so yeah, looking in principle, you'd expect relative equality there, but let's have a look at go a few deeper. Let's have a look at Harry Grieve, because that's quite interesting. Harry Greaves' best results is quite slow for me. What's Harry Greaves' handle, Natasha?
He is Grieve 72.
Okay.
Against attacking Snow Leopard.
Whoa. Knight f6. So Harry's a pawn up there. Yes, that is true. Let's have a look. Just have a quick look. Oh, it was Harry's a3, d5, f4 again. So reverse Dutch with an extra a3, which is quite fun. He seems to use it against low-rated players quite a bit. So okay, black's a pawn down, but not really doing so badly. In fact, lovely central control, and yeah, going to exchange off, pardon me, this knight on d5, which is quite a nice piece. And then afterwards, yeah, I mean, white's a pawn up, but black will have some central play. There are some sort of things with f takes g6, you know, that are a little bit worrying, though. So it might well be that white's got some sort of specific ways of doing stuff. Yeah, and queen h6 is definitely one of the worrying ones. The idea being, of course, that knight d5 we've got takes, queen takes, and then f6. So the question is, can black do anything about this? I didn't. I was thinking, okay, queen f6. Oh yeah, maybe that's not crazy. I was thinking more about maybe going ed3 and rook e2, trying for something like that, together with somewhere a knight d5 and queen c2. You know, that sort of thing. But this is quite
I might be tempted by fg now.
Yeah, we'll go queen g6, I think. Queen g6 f hg, and yeah, it's not 100% clear. We could go rook f4 after, and start hitting on this pawn. It's borderline. It's borderline whether white could be completely winning, or it could be you know, it could just be this is quite a good move, threatening rook c6 there. Now, I mean, the question is a little bit, we could
hi, Guitar Man.
Hey, Guitar Man, turning up again like a bad penny. So yeah, rook e2 or rook e3 maybe, but no, I think I'm gradually getting more and more on white side here. So should be good somehow. The only thing is there's loose pawns everywhere, so it's the sort of thing where you know, you've got to watch out with white, because you know, you start grabbing pawns, black grabs pawns, and all of a sudden all the pawns have come off the board in a rook ending. So you know, that's always the slight worry. But yeah, in general, I think Harry's doing a good job here. But both sides don't have that much time, so you know, going to be quite a close one.
Drunken Knight.
Oh yeah, we haven't seen Drunken Knight yet. Drunken. Let's get that wrong. It's Drunkenite.
Yes.
Not seeing Drunken Knight, so maybe he's finished already there. Let's have a look. Jonathan Blackburn. My goodness, just results is really slow for me.
Gunslinger 222.
Sorry?
Gunslinger 222 is Jonathan Blackburn.
Okay. Observe. Gunslinger 222. Yeah. AI in chess is playing. My goodness.
Oh. Which is Rajav Vaidya.
Indeed. So bishop d3, rook c8. Yeah. I mean, I would have been very tempted here just to take on f6, actually, I have to say. But maybe we can do that at any moment. It was sort of very close, really, you know, that you were I think somehow these last moves a3 and e3 have not been good. I mean, I think just the simple f3, to be honest, in this position. I mean, you shouldn't be putting your pawns on dark squares if white's got if black's got a light square bishop, really. You know, I mean, I would have thought, well, you probably don't need to do it immediately, but this and f3 followed by king f2, you know, would have been my choice, really. And you know, and you just got this beautiful, and then you put the pawn on b3, you know, and just restrict this light squared bishop even more. Because what white's done with a3 and e3 is just let this light squared bishop get active. You know, now the knight has to retreat, and it's a bit, you know, it's a little bit, h6 is a little bit strange, though. I mean, you could have just gone king e7 here. So, okay, bishop e4, knight e1. Okay, I guess white's going to try and reestablish a bit of control over the light squares there with f3, and then move the king over to e2. It's been a little bit of a, yeah, a little bit strange, really, but okay. You know, I mean, white's looking a lot better than a few moves ago again. But
so Rajav's another one of our talented junior players, born 2008.
Oh, wow.
I don't know myself, but Guitar Man's go Raghav, great guy, lovely parents.
Ah, great. Yeah, Keith actually beat Frankie there. Let's just have a
finished already.
Yeah, quickly.
Yes, it's Rapidplay, isn't it? Of course.
Yeah. So when queen c2 actually and won a pawn right out of the opening there, and then converted it, you know, quite solidly. Yeah, I mean, I think it was this opening mistake, d5. He takes d5. That you need to go knight d8 in that position, you know, or knight b8 in order to survive. So hard luck, Frankie. Well played, Keith. Then we've got Biranidun. So Brendan Clark, who played extremely well in the Blitz yesterday, played a great game against John Spielman. Yeah, here he's the exchange up against Andrew McGettigan. So you'd expect that this will work out quite well. I'll just have a quick look because this is quite interesting. What did Black do here? Oh, Black went bishop g6, g4, and f5, which was very solid. Also a decent way of doing it. The only problem with it is that you're sort of, yeah, you know, your bishop on g6 is doing nothing. You've got knight on c8 that's not doing a great deal, so it's a little bit tough there. But Black went like this, and then knight e3, knight e7. I have to be honest, Black's done quite well. If it wasn't for this bishop on b4, you often see this in the Slav as well. I played a lot of Slavs, and you always end up getting hit with this bishop on b4, and this sort of made Black have to give up the exchange. So yeah, I mean, a good attempt, Andrew. That was. But it was a tough position from the opening, I think, and White played it very, very well there. So Edson Xu, oh, he shouldn't really have gone h5 there. But king b4 is going to be, probably we're going to be fine. We could go knight g6 here, and it won't be a particular problem to cover the pawn. So I would have thought that White's going to hold this, because there's not really that much that the Black can do here. I mean, we've got a tempo, you know, we've really got tempo with our knight because we can go knight h4 takes f5. So there's not really any worries about that. And for the rest, Black doesn't really have any chances, I don't think. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be a little bit of an upset there, but only 11 seconds for white, so got to keep on moving. Peshka the Great against Frederick the Mate is still very even there. So Frederick the Mate doing excellently to hold off Peshka the Great. So I guess, yeah, I mean, Rook A4 I think is probably going to be fine here. I mean, if you could get to the 7th rank, you might worry black a little bit, or the 8th rank, but Rook A4 takes A2. I mean, that's going to be fine. So, yeah, looking pretty good. How is Harry Greaves doing? Harry Greaves doing pretty well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, okay. The pawn has been given back. Now we've got some problems with the G3 pawn. Rook F5, Queen G3. Queen C6, that's a bit risky, but probably everything is covered. But I'm a bit worried. Can't we go Rook C8 here or something, actually? Isn't Rook C8 really strong?
Ooh.
Well, it's certainly a bit worrying, I have to say. Because I think you have to stay on the 6th rank so you can give a possible Queen F6 check. No, I think wasn't Rook C8 really strong there? Just quickly. Rook C8. I mean, if Queen B5, we go Rook C2. You've got to go to H3, and then I can go E2, Rook F2.
You'd have to give up your 2 rooks for the Queen, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't know, but there must be something else here. I mean, Queen G7 maybe, threatening Queen G4, Rook F4.
Oh,
oops, it's Queen G3, or even if you want to be nice about it, Queen G4 check. I think this was really dangerous, actually. I think Harry was it.
Attacking Snow Leopard could have had the advantage.
I think so. Yeah. And now Harry's consolidated, which is a good move there. That was definitely necessary. That Rook 1 F2. But it's very tense. I mean, no, this is the Blacks not playing badly at all. Blacks maybe not always finding the most decisive ways of playing, but this is very sensible. It's just really amazing. This pawn on G3 is proving to be a real problem. Black's position looks very ropey. I mean, 5 isolated pawns, but yeah. So I'm guessing Rook D5 now, probably. And then Harry will take on B4. Queen takes D5, okay. I'm a bit surprised about that one because we're releasing pressure on G3. Oh, okay, want to go Rook B8, but Queen E7. This is getting a bit risky now. We've lost our great position for the Queen there, and Rook F5 is a threat now. So I think this is turning Harry's way. Maybe Queen E6 should be tried. Rook B6, but we'll have Rook F5 then. So yeah, it's getting very difficult now. Yeah, but this is kind of gone Queen D6 and then Rook F7. So hard luck, Black. That was a big fight, but yeah, I mean, just kind of tricky there to keep someone like Harry at bay with that little amount of time.
Gunslinger's now in a king and pawn ending.
This should be winning in principle, king and pawn. I'm saying that just like that because I'm assuming I was always been assuming with these pawns that it would be weak. But is that true? We'll have E4 now. It's probably not true actually. This is probably just a draw because White's got no real reserve tempi. I mean, we go King F6, King H5, King G7, obviously. So King G7, you've just got no reserve tempi. So. Yeah, I mean, King G6 would be possible now as well.
And if H5?
It doesn't really matter. We go King E6. And then when White goes King E4, we'll take and go D5 check, and I mean, whichever way you do it, it's just ending up as a draw. So, wow, we've got that's going to be quite a shock there. Yeah, I don't think you can do anything else but agree a draw here. You haven't really even got any triangulation attempts really. So yeah, I would say a draw here is the only way. King E6 now, and yeah, it's just completely equal. Wow, Harry Greaves has won that one. Peshka the Great still playing. Well, yeah. What can you say? It's little trap, Rook F4, but that's not even a trap because we've got Queen A1. So Queen F5 or something, I think. Yeah, is easy. And maybe we'll try a little Queen D4, threaten Rook H6, but we go back to F6 afterwards. So yeah, that's very sensible what Black's doing here. I mean,
hey, AI in chess is drawn.
Yeah, fantastic. Well played. And having a look at this one.
The only one I've got left is Edward the Conchessa. Oh, sorry, and Frederick the. Sorry, Peshka the Great as well.
Serve Edward the.
Oh, actually, no, it's just drawn.
They're just
insufficient material. So yeah, Peshka the Great's the last one I have.
Cool. Yeah, trying to win this, I wouldn't have thought. Yeah, of course, you never know until you try. But I wouldn't have thought this would lead to much. So F3. Did we go back to F6? Yeah, just quite good. You've got to with Black in these positions. You've just got to play sensibly. Take a couple of seconds per move, and then just find a decent sort of looking structure. This is quite nice. Okay, Rook E8. Yeah. Now I think we'll probably see a draw offer pretty soon because winning this one is pretty tough, really. I wouldn't even bother to exchange off queens, to be honest. Oh, even White's avoiding it. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Full marks to White for for the effort, but I don't know whether it's really worth trying this. You're playing somebody rated 2086. Is a good player. So there's unless there's a. I mean, there could always be a mouse slip, of course. I mean, that's so interesting to think. Would you play this on in a normal game, or is it really? Are you really going for the mouse slip? Possible. H8. But Black's playing it very sensibly, not giving anything away really. So
Frederick the Mate's even younger than Nichin Han, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Frederick the Mate's quite.
He's like 8 or something. 10 or 11.
Yeah, very impressive. He's played very impressively this game. Just very calm and collected. So I mean, we have seen 11
says Sanjay. Yeah, thank you.
Traditionally, juniors are can be a bit weaker in endings. We've seen I think we've seen a few Rook and 3s versus Rook and 2s that have got one and all that, but yeah, I mean, I think the way Black's playing this is super competent. So I don't think there's any hope here. Queen F3, Queen D8 check. Fair enough. Take Queen D3 would be a very sensible move. Take control of all the diagonals there.
Sanjay, you, Freddie the Mate's Scottish, isn't he? I think, and you are as well. Is that right?
Queen F4. Yeah. Queen G6. Yeah, I think we just keep on moving along this diagonal, to be honest. Yeah, maybe you're trying to. I suppose you're also trying to catch the pre-move. The pre-move Queen E6, and then. Yeah. Queen D4, Queen F5 looks like a nice move to me. Oh, D6. No, okay. I mean, it's all fine, really.
Queen F2.
Yeah, I mean, there really are many moves in this position. So the thing you've got to watch out for now that you've played G6 is the king and pawn endings, because you could end up.
Oh, Sanjith. Oh.
You could end up in a losing one now.
One day you'll both be in it. That's what I think.
So yeah, you got to watch. The only thing you got to watch out for is that, you know, what the white plays a queen f4, a king f4, and then you queen c7 check, queen e5. I wonder why he isn't going for that. Actually, maybe he's just trying to lull black into a sense of full security. But yeah, queen c7 is a draw. Okay.
Okay, good. So I think that's everybody finished.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Let's see if we have results. We don't have results, so we can look at a different game.
Yeah, we didn't see anti-drone, did we? So
no, let's see that.
How do I do that, actually?
I did follow him, so I wonder if the game didn't happen for one reason or another.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he went out on the town after winning the Blitz Championship, and he's in no state to play this morning.
Okay.
You never know.
Yeah, wait a minute. Oh, yeah, because I'm not following people, am I? So I didn't actually see. Because we actually saw quite a few of the games there, I have to say.
Yeah. I've got a few we didn't see. Did we see Drunken Knight and Shavs? We saw a little bit of that, or David Walker against Pavel Murawski, who I guess is a sibling of Jan Moore.
Okay.
So that one, if you want that one, is DJW60.
Yeah. Now I'm just wondering, how do I?
You can follow DJW60 because he's an adult player.
Yeah, that's right. But then what do I? How do I get his games back? That's what I'm wondering.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
There is a way to do it. Wait a minute. Search. It's one of the search boxes, which I'm always. There we are. There we are. Analyze. Right. So that was Pavel Murawski against. We saw. Oh, good Lord! There we are. No, I just want the boards, the games. Yeah, we'll see about that. So we saw so Paul Moore, yes, Jan Moore. We saw they both play the same opening, actually. This
okay.
We saw Jan Moore playing against a much stronger player and winning queen for rook. C5 D5. It's a Leningrad system against the Nimzo, one of the favorites of Boris Spassky back in the day. Never really liked it very much for white, I have to say. These double pawns, and then the bishop that's the block center, and then the bishops that's a bit blocked in by the pawns. I never really managed to really feel that I'd have much hope there. So black playing quite solidly here, just putting his pieces on, putting the pawn chain on dark square, shutting off that bishop on G3, and generally playing solidly. I always found that black had a reasonably simple way of playing there. And certainly after bishop f4, ef4, then black's got a dream position here already. With
that knight on e5 looks nice, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think the problem with this opening as well, I think with white, you've got to be really, really accurate with all your move orders, to otherwise you can just end up with a ropey position like this. And King d2 is a little bit risky there. Yeah, b5 would have been rather strong here, actually, to meet c takes b5 with c4. I think that would have been very embarrassing, actually. But queen a5, rook b1, castle queen side looks a little bit risky, but you're fine there. And yeah, I mean, we're sort of solid on the queen side. This pawn's actually weak, this pawn too. But we've also got our king side breaks, so it's a little bit. Actually, black just went for the win of the pawn there, and then went for a win of another pawn. And this was pretty not too difficult, I guess, for black to convert there. So I think it was more more an opening choice there. And you've got to have a think, I think, with white whether whether this is an opening that that you can play. I mean, the lines with b5 are quite fun. They're open and quite exciting, but these lines, you accept the double pawns. This bishop gets blocked in. It's easy to just get outplayed by a good positional player in those. So I think it's a good, it's worth thinking whether that's a good staple system in the Nimzo. I mean, I played E3 an awful lot, and these are lead to very typical positions, really. For white, and I think they're not. Nowadays, black's got a number of ways of, I guess, of equalizing with very accurate play, but in general, you reach a lot of typical positions like that, and I think that's a very good one to start with.
Yeah.
But,
so now the results are in, and Richard Pert did actually win by default on that game. So there wasn't a game, but he was there. And we also have Matthew Payne winning by default, and Jay Cranston, and Gerasimas Skiatros.
Oh, Edison Sue lost that, unfortunately.
Should we see how that went?
Oh, that might be a bit painful for Edison, I think. So we'll just that's because.
All right. Well, what we could do is see the opening of because we saw Gunslinger against Raja Feja. We saw the end game, but we could check the opening of that one.
Okay. Sorry, who was that? Who do you want to check?
Gunslinger against AI in chess.
Yeah. Okay. I've lost all my. Lost all my thingies.
If you do /follow Gunslinger 222.
Yeah, okay, but I didn't see it.
You won't get it. Sorry. Yeah.
That's all fine. There's just just a little bit takes a little bit of time on this interface. Blackburn. No games in progress. AI in chess.
Hi, Bujima.
So that was just an Indo-Indian. Queen b3, slightly unusual, but in this way, when you take on c3, that's it's like a queen c2 variation, really, but where black's taken on c3 immediately, which is a safe tempo for white. D5, so in principle quite nice. C takes d5, knight takes d5. Yeah, I mean it's a matter of taste, really. Knight 7 f6. Got to watch out with these two knights because normally the better line is to play. If you're going to do something like this, you play this knight to f6, and then you play c5 afterwards. And you leave this diagonal free for the bishop. This configuration of knights can be a bit vulnerable. Can get exposed to e4. But okay, knight e5. Queen d6 was played, swapping off the queens. Knight c4. Rook fd8. Bishop g5. Slight edge for white, more pleasant, but nothing horrific. We are threatening bishop f6 with double pawns, although you can ask yourself how serious that is, really. But bishop a6, rook c1, rook ac8, and now bishop takes d5. This is how we got the double pawns here. And then black could have thought about taking on e2, but decided to defend b7. Then we got knight f5, king f8. Yeah, and here this was where I was saying f3 would have been the best move, just to protect e2, put pawns on like squares, keep this bishop out of play, and then just at some stage you'll have bishop takes f6 with a massive position, really, because this knight really dominates the rest of the board. So I think that was probably from White's perspective a bit of a mischance there, because it was really I think a dream opening after the initial moves. All right, waiting for the pairings there.
Yeah,
probably a little bit of correction to do. We've got Bogdan in there as well, who's maybe going to play in the second round as well. So looking quite interesting there.
Yeah. Yes, okay. So, yes, on 1 point, Keith Arkle, Richard Pert, Brandon Clark, Nagir Dong Bao, Chris Duncan, David Walker, Harry Grieve, Matthew Payne, and Schlock Varner, Jay Cranston, and Gerasimas Giatros.
Just do a few follows just to make sure that I'm
yeah.
Anti-drone. Unable to follow anti-drone. Okay.
Yeah, I got that before as well. Maybe he doesn't. People.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't quite know what those. Presumably, it's a setting that you can be followed or not be followed. I don't know, but
he's probably just blocked you. No, I'm joking because actually it doesn't work for me either.
Ha ha. I'll follow. See whether can we follow Yichin Han or is Yichin Han there?
Yes, you can. Peshka the Great, you can.
Yeah, okay, that's not bad. But at least we'll have a few coming up automatically. We should have. Is it B unit or is it B dash unit?
B dash unit.
It's B dash unit, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think he's different. He's different on different types, but
sure.
I always like his name, B unit. Oh, unable to follow B unit. Okay. Or is it? It's not case sensitive, is it?
Maybe he's not logged on. Okay. I think it was B dash unit. Yeah.
No, that's right. It's not case sensitive or anything. I will follow Drunken Knight. I'm sure we can follow Chris Duncan.
Yeah, we can do that.
Hey, there we are. David Walker against Keith Arkle. Off we go. Round 2. Okay. Fasten your seatbelts. So Keith, so English opening. David Walker's always played this, and we're going to get a Roxy bind. Yeah, I think he's playing this more. I didn't think it was part of his pre-lockdown repertory. You know, that's
okay. He's probably been studying it up.
I don't know. I'm not sure. But it's okay. Queen D2. Yeah, this is all possible. So normally you go something like Rook C1 and then B3. Yeah, that's. I think F3 is a little bit early. I think there's some reason why it's slightly inaccurate, but normally you play, Bishop E2, Bishop E3, and that sort of stuff. But normally it sort of comes to pretty much the same thing. So Bishop E2, Rook C1, Rook C8, B3. A6 is often played here. Knight D7 is another idea. So yeah, I mean, you can choose to take on G7, but normally if you choose to take on G7, you've played a slightly different setup here with castles and F4. Normally here you go Bishop E3. Indeed, just keep the dark square bishops on. But somehow it feels here like White's a tempo down in some way, but maybe it's that move F3, actually. I'm not sure. But Knight A4, I think, is possible here. Okay. Just to get the queen away from B5. Threaten Nix, Knight D5.
I think you're saying get the queens off.
Indeed, yeah. So, and now, Black can play Queen D8 or Black can play Queen takes D2.
You know what Keith will play?
Yeah, I would guess so. And then, if you take on D5, then not much is happening really for Black, I think. So you might just play King F8, and just delay it a little bit and see whether you can gain a bit of extra, a few extra concessions, whatever you want to call them. So King D2, King F8, and then, maybe try and play for F5 or whatever. And Bishop D5 is fine, but I think you're really likely just to get a very equal ending there. But we'll catch up with that a little bit later. I've got Brendan Clark here. Brendan Clark playing SV2701. Yep. Let's have a look. It's a bishop g5 Grunfeld.
I'm assuming it's Schlock-Varner, SV.
F4 takes bishop g7 e3 c5 knight f3. So yeah, I mean the Grunfeld, you can meet it by playing putting pawns in the center e4, or by playing e3. E3 is very solid. Not so stupid, these systems. I think you know, they're often definitely just equal from a theoretical point of view, but they can be quite tricky to play against. So just because you're facing this, you don't get your normal counterplay where white's desperately trying to hold this pawn. You're facing this wall somehow. So just to get into a slightly worse position, really. But you have to be a decent Grunfeld player basically to do it. But well, sure, Brandon will do a great job with that. Let's have a look. We've got white here against Yichin Han. So this is one of these E4 Englishes. So I played this a few times, and actually I think the engines are pretty keen on this. I've never understood the attraction of this line particularly. Takes, a6, bishop b2, castles, knight c3. White's got the two bishops, black's got the d4 square. So it's just one of those, really. Sometimes a little bit hard for black to find a good active plan without the light squared bishops. This is quite a natural one from Yichin Han. Just going to go c6 and then knight over to g6 probably. And but white's got a small edge, I think. Probably played g3 now and bishop g2, but it's not very much at all in principle. Do we not have? I've followed quite a few people, but I've only got 3 games up there.
Oh, I've got a stack of games. There's Antidrome is playing against Tao's Tactician.
I can't follow him.
Yeah.
So let's observe him. Oh, okay. So this is a. Oh wow, this is a sharp one. So bishop f5, h4, and now black normally plays h5 here, but a very sharp choice from Richard Pert here, playing c5. This is definitely on the very risky side. You're trying to prove really that this move h4 is completely useless, which is not completely unreasonable. But there's some sharp here on this, which I can no longer remember. But I think that yeah, in principle, this doesn't. This should be quite decent for black here. I mean, I guess you play. Well, both look sort of reasonable. B takes c6 feels like the most natural. You're attacking c5 and e5, but I guess that after bc, queen d4 is going to be played, protecting these two. Actually, this is still the theory, isn't it? This comes. This seems vaguely. This seems to remind me of a book somewhere. But this c2 is hanging, so I'm not 100% convinced I've got this right. But that's the most natural one. I mean, queen c6 is also quite interesting. We've got maybe little threats of d4, and then we're just going to take
queen c6 is played. Yeah. So,
but this is quite well known. I think it's supposed to be good for white, but obviously, if you can't remember it very well, then these are the sort of sharp lines that often end up, giving black a good position if white doesn't get it absolutely precise. So, that could be quite decent there. All right, let's observe. Actually, I did a follow of Gunslinger, but I haven't.
Yeah, Gunslinger I do have. Gunslinger 222.
So what happened there? So that was a perk. Bishop d3, quite a solid system. Castles normally play h3 at some stage. So black here getting e5 in. Check. e7, rook d1. So in principle, black's not doing too badly here. These systems are always a bit funny because, I mean, white's wasted a little bit of time with his bishop. It's on h4, looking at these two pawns, which is not great. But yeah, the open d file is always slightly annoying. So we got queen d6. Bishop e6 is possible. This knight on g4 will need a few moves to get active again. So you just need you need a little bit of time just to just get normal again, basically. So it's I always find with Black and Blitz games, I don't really play these systems very often. With Black and Blitz games, I always find it easy to get into trouble in this line.
There's a really fun one here, which is Frederick the Mate against Grieve 72.
All right. So what have we got here? So Frederick the Mate having a tough tournament. Started off with Yi Chen Han and now playing Harry Grieve. In principle, Black's got quite a nice position here because, yeah, I mean, that knight on a5 is a little bit offside and Black's kingside pawns look threatening. Also got the open g file as well. So, pardon me. So I would rather have Black in principle.
Yeah, it looks like Black can build up a kingside attack here.
Yeah, but I suppose the only thing is it can get a bit loose as well. So it's not it's sort of the type of position where you say yeah, absolutely, Black's definitely having the first go at white, but be careful because everything could get a little bit. There's a lot of space in Black's position and probably not enough pieces to cover it. So
yes.
As things get opened up, could be a bit dangerous as well. I mean, e4 really feels like a very tempting move here. I mean, you could try b4, which looks a bit odd, but just the idea to not to open up the queen side. Because after e4, White could play c takes b5, for example. Which could be interesting. I mean, we've got, yeah, wow, this is a very sharp position. I mean, we've got loads of ideas here. I mean, if you wanted, you could go knight e5, just, or you could even start looking at playing a move like e3, for example. There are really quite a few. I mean, yeah. Oops, good lord, sorry. C takes b5, e3. I guess you wouldn't take that, but you want to follow up with f4 and then f3 after.
Yeah.
I don't know. Really quite interesting ideas here. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, you could build it up more with rook e8. I suppose what's the only thing you're thinking about with Black is that what is White going to do? Well, let's say CB. Let's say CB again. Rook c1, and then you're probably going to play b4 and then rook c6. Just to try and or b4 and knight c6, just to try and annoy the Black pieces. And it's a little bit, yeah, it's not 100% clear. I mean, that's the thing. It's dangerous, but Black's also very loose. So could be a tough one. Rook e8, rook c1, indeed. I mean, you might well consider playing b4 here. Just to
just close it up, because then,
yeah, I mean, even as a pawn, even as a pawn sacrifice. I mean, you could you could just play, like, I don't know, bishop d6, c5, bishop c7. You take this one, but then it's not quite this, but you sort of maybe knight f6, and you just say, well, giving up the pawn is fine because this is all closed, and then I'll just move my pieces in for the attack. That could also be possible. Would have thought maybe it would have been worth taking on b5 and then just going rook c1 after, just to be sure of opening the c file. But I mean, e4 to e3 is definitely worth a look there now. I mean, e4, c takes b5, e4, c takes b5, and then, well, take your pick. f4, maybe. This could be very dangerous.
You're going for it.
This could be very dangerous. I mean, f3 to block, we go there and then go rook e3 or rook e2. I mean, this should be really dangerous. If we go d takes e4, then we can throw in f3, queen c4. We go to, not sure, h7 maybe.
Yeah.
If you go g3, I can go d3, threatening queen g3. It's kind of all happening. I mean, I don't, you're not 100% sure that it's completely winning or whatever, but it's definitely all happening. That's there's plenty of dangerous choice out there. But yeah, Harry's gone b4, which I think is a very sensible, practical decision. There's no need to, if you see lots of stuff, then you go for it, and otherwise, you just. Yeah, so knight b3, and then I think we just going to go bishop d6 and give back the pawn. I mean, you could also is e4 something? Probably too risky. a5. I mean, you could carry on along the same way and go a5 here somehow.
Sacrificing just to get that knight back offside.
Yeah, so a5, knight a5, and then you go e4.
Yeah.
Also possible as well. Because if you go knight c5, this is probably pretty nice for black. We've got e4, a little bit loose, but probably pretty nice as well. So choices. Rook b8, that's a bit passive. I don't think that was really.
Oh, because you can take on c5 and e5, can't you?
Well, there's knight d3.
No.
Knight d3, but well, even that's quite. I mean, you're the exchange down, but the king's open now. It's probably quite good for black still. This is a bit of an odd move, really. It's sort of playing super safe, really, and I think maybe it was already possible to consider going for it a bit more.
Hi, fading blob.
So yeah, Keith has drawn with David Walker there. You play the knight to c5 afterwards, and yeah, probably it's just equal. So that's the big drawback to the Maroczy bind, that it can be very hard to play for a win with black. So this is SV 2701 against Brandon Clark. Yeah, typical sort of Grunfeld, really, where you've got the queenside pawns there, and queenside pawns, and white's got a bit of pressure as well. So quite interesting. White's done quite well here. I guess rook c1 is probably the move. You've got little things like knight b3, for example, because rook d7, knight c1 would be embarrassing. But I think after knight b3, you can just play rook c2. It's not so crucial, and then you'll make sure that you end up with a rook on the c file.
You could. What if you just drop back with knight c6, and then later follow up with bishop b2?
Yeah, we've got rook b7 after knight c6, so you need to do something about that b7 pawn. It's a little bit tricky for black here. I mean, you can go rook d8, but then I just take. Yeah, I mean, I think white's definitely got white's definitely got a bit of pressure here. So going to need some careful play from black here. And black's used more time, so you can see not 100% happy maybe about it. Peshka the Great seems to be a whole piece up here.
Oh,
so yeah, this is looking quite. Yeah, I think this is basically over. We've got knight f3 coming in, and oh, this is quite a sharp one. So queen c6, bishop e3 was played. Ooh. D4 was kind of tempting here. Or is this maybe this is this known? Maybe D4 with maybe queen takes, queen g2, castles queenside. So castles, queen d4, knight e7, and then b4. Wow.
Okay, Matthew Payne going for it.
Yeah, bishop takes c2, b5, queen c7, and g4, stopping the knight coming to f5. So white's really going for it. I mean, this could be. This could just be extraordinarily dangerous for black. So well, yeah, and anti-drome's on 1:40, so he's definitely yeah. This is not obvious.
Another attacking Matthew. We were talking about the world's top Matthews the other day.
Yeah, but there turned out to be 50 or 60 of them, didn't there? So
and
Ding Liren apparently is Matthew in
Chinese.
So yeah. Now the question is, how do we break through here? I mean, what appeals somehow is to go Rook C1, Rook C1, and after Bishop somewhere to go Queen A4 here, attacking A7. Because if you then go King B8, I go B6, and well, your kings move towards the danger area. So you probably, well, okay, the intriguing things start getting, you can start making a mess basically. I mean, Queen E5, I think we go Knight F3, which is not making enough of a mess here, and also I think opening up this diagonal is really dangerous. HG. I don't know, B6 now would be very dangerous, I think, probably. Because Queen C6, we've got Knight B5, and I'm threatening Knight A7. Or we could go King D7, I suppose. But I don't know. I mean, this is looking really, really very scary indeed. I think something here would work. That's my not particularly scientific assessment of that. Or maybe, maybe you can just even go Knight E2, cover D4, and then keep B6 in reserve, but that looks very dangerous. I mean, actually, even B6, Queen C6, BA is pretty dangerous because Queen A4, Knight A4 will have Knight B6. So, yeah, I don't know. This looks really, really. I think this looks very dangerous. Queen A4, but maybe what Black should do then is go D4. So,
Bishop takes,
and then yeah, if we go Bishop takes, then maybe it's a bit more random. But again, I mean, yeah, Knight E2, Knight F5, we go B6, then Queen C6 is going to hit the rook with check. But I could go BA here, I don't know. I mean, I think Black's in real trouble here, but it's just very.
That would be an upset if Matthew Payne manages to.
Bishop B4 was played here. Bishop B4 was played, so Black not taking any time at all. I mean, I would have gone F3 now, to be honest. That would have been my move, but I guess Black's idea of F3 was quite clever. After F3, you go Bishop G6, and then if you go Queen A4, if you go Queen A4, Queen E5, then we're really hitting a loose bishop on E3. So that was quite clever.
Decoder's saying, can't White take the pawn? Which pawn do you mean, Decoder?
This one on E4, I think that sort of frees White a little bit, but White's gone B6, and Black didn't dare go Queen C6, which is bad news. Because I think if there's one move that you really would want to play, it's Queen B6. So Queen B8 played, but I suppose Black's looking for Knight C6. Maybe it's now, I do wonder about a move like C6, maybe. B takes A6, Queen A7. No, maybe Queen B8 is just a good move, actually. That's possible. This is wild stuff. I mean, I'm wondering about going something like Knight B5, just trying to really hold that queen. Knight B5, Knight C6, Queen, something like this. A6, Knight D6 check, and then take it like this. You're threatening Rook C6. So maybe you go King D7, but this Queen is stuck, and then I'll go F3, and I'll just claim that you're totally tied up. I don't know, but it's going to be White's taken on E4 now. Okay. Yeah, you've got to take that one back. Queen E4. Well, yeah, sometimes the simple lines are the best. I'm guessing, what are we going to do here? Knight C6 looks very natural. And now White needs to find a decent move. Knight F3 maybe is not so silly. Because HG, Queen G4, I mean, yeah. I mean, if you go HG, Queen G4, Knight E5, okay, A6 from Black. So Black's just basically saying, okay, I'm going to hold it for, I'm just playing to hold this now. But he's going Rook D5 next. Black's got some sort of stability here on the queen side, bizarrely enough. So it's a bit, you're never quite sure really, you know, how do I need to force as white, or can I consolidate? Yeah, I think g5 was probably a good move. Queen f4 is definitely worth investigating here. Rook d1 is also not silly. And
Exchanging off that active rook on d5.
yeah, I mean, the problem is bishop c5. I go rook takes d5, bishop b4 check, rook d2. So I mean, you could consider. Yeah, okay. I understand rook d1. So bishop b7 is going to come in now. Tough tactician declined a draw, accepted a draw.
Ah, yes. Okay.
So yeah, I was getting quite tense there, but probably white's just winning, I think, actually. Bishop e7, we go king e2. Rook d8, we go rook d1, and you know this queen's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
So I think a tactical draw offer there by Anti-Drone.
That was tactician by Anti-Drone.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, we've got Gunslinger 222. So rook and 3 against rook and 2. So
Freddie the Mate and Harry Grieve, they're offering an exchange of queens now. Harry Grieve has his bishop in on g3, like the Alpha Zero bishop.
All right, e3. This looks, yeah. I mean, Harry's definitely pushing here. So it's going to be a queen g6, king g6, and then somewhere. But ooh, knight f4 is going to be unpleasant. So I think this is really, really good for black. I mean, bishop f2 check followed by knight f4 is probably bishop f2 check now, I guess. And then knight f4 afterwards is going to be very strong. And then e2 afterwards. You're probably winning a piece by force here. Rook f2. Okay. So, yeah, this one's pretty good. Bishop takes e3, which looks like a trick. Allows, well, either knight e3 or rook takes g2 check, whichever one you want to. Yeah. Knight e3 is fine. Rook g2 is brilliant. Yeah. Harry's going for the completely simple way. So, yeah, looks like tough first two rounds there, but still very well played, and a good start for Harry there. Let's look at Brendan Clark. What's happening here? So yeah, quite a typical position here. Yeah, now this is where black sort of starts to motor a bit, because yeah, the queenside pawns are quite dangerous there. But you would have thought, in principle, we could have looked at going f5 there actually, just to keep the black king out of e6. But got to watch out here. It's getting quite close to not to mate really, but feels like it a little bit. Sort of thing that happens to you in a blitz game, really.
Oh yeah, because you could take. I know you can't. I was looking at take on e3, but then f5 comes in.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely take a look at going f5 check, and then takes, and then bishop c1 hitting the pawn on a3, because you're threatening bishop b2 check, you know, which is. I mean, you must be. I think you're going to be picking up a pawn here.
Yeah.
F1, okay. I suppose I didn't like a4. I suppose that is probably a good point. Bishop f1. But okay, now, well, yeah, white's tied. Yeah, ooh, bishop c1 maybe is a good one now, because we're hitting a3, and we're also threatening bishop b2 check. Actually, your king's a little bit awkward there.
Oh,
so,
bishop b2 check forces king c5.
Yeah, so probably bishop h6 is what you have to do with white here. But now, oh no, he's missed bishop b2. He's missed bishop b2 there. So Yeah, hard luck. SV 2701. Good fight there, but there's still a little bit of work to do, of course, because crazily enough, yeah, the pawn F5 being weak is a bit of an irritation. Oh, bishop H3 played. Okay, it's probably quite
Against the pawn. Yeah.
Quite an interesting one. I think what Black's aiming for is that he's going to. Oh, okay. Oh, he's going King D7. That way. I was thinking he was maybe just going to give up the dark squared bishop for the pawn and then have H and A pawn against the bishop. Which would be impossible to stop. But this is probably a better way of doing it, because now, yeah, we're going to run with the A pawn anyway. So no, very nice game from Brandon there. Just a nice ending. It was not an easy one by any means. And it looks like this was very well won. So bishop b4 would be a good move. Yeah, exactly. And then
just H pawn. Yeah.
H pawn or A pawn, whichever one you try and stop, will run with the other. So very good. Chess Monkey Gunslinger still going on. Yeah, this one's a draw. You can win these when you're when the white king's cut off. Is it 1, 2, 3? It's when it's 4 files away from the pawn, or cut off by 4 files rather, and then the pawn's file. But you're not going to win this in this position. So well held, Jamie Doyle.
Edward the Conchessa is playing Frankie GM. They've got an endgame. Bishop v knight.
So yeah, observe. Frankie GM should be easier. There's an underscore, isn't there?
Frankie underscore GM.
Oh, let's have a look. So yeah, in principle, white's better here. So c5 would be probably a good move now. I would have thought we'll be winning the a6 pawn at least. So that looks pretty promising. Oh, okay, b5. Let's have a thinky what we do. I mean, c6 check. King there, knight c5 is probably going to be a good one. b4 will go knight a6 takes b4, I think. We'll just play it nice and safe. So I guess bishop e7 we're going to be looking for. And then I think we go knight a6 check. That's probably quite a good idea. I was thinking knight a6 because king b6 would go and then king e6 to d7. That was here you sort of that e6 square was a good invasion square for your knight c7. Ooh, okay. This is getting a little bit risky. Are we going to be able to make anything of this? I think c7 would only be good if you could follow up with king c6 and then mate black somehow, but you're not going to get to b6 sometime soon. So this could be a little bit You don't want to go g5 really. Oh, you don't want to go g5.
Just on it.
Well, okay, knight takes g5 is okay. That's sort of all right. You didn't want to let the g pawn run as well, otherwise. Now this is a bit unfortunate. You've gone from a much better ending for white to being a bit worse. But you would have thought somehow that that white will should still be able to hold this. Because black's pawns are very difficult to advance here. So maybe knight g5 is a good move there. So if you move away, if you play king c6, we can go knight h7 and king e8. Wow, that's quite a move. Knight e4. Yeah, we can go king d5 now. That's fine. Yeah. Well played, Frankie. That's going to round this one off nicely. We can take... oh, wait a minute. King e5. There's bishop b4.
Oh
dear. Oh, there was bishop b4. There really was. All right. But now we go knight b1. That's absolutely fine. So that's going to end up a draw. Oh, Gunslinger. Wow, Gunslinger 222 managed to win this.
Okay. Oh gosh, yes.
How did that happen? King e2. What happened there? King f2. We're nice and tight there. Oh, King f3. Okay. But still, if you just play rook anywhere, really, you know, it's just a draw. But somehow, I think White panicked then and let the king get out. Oh my goodness me! Oh dear me, dear me. Yeah, hard luck there. That's yeah. King f3 was just the just anywhere with the rook would have drawn there. But okay, and Frankie GM has drawn with Edward the Conchessa. So well played, both players.
All right, so I think that is that's all the games finished that I can see.
Indeed.
Brilliant. Okay, well, I hope you have enjoyed rounds 1 and 2 of the Championship Rapid Play. There'll be more action at 1 o'clock for rounds 5, 6, and 7 with John Ems and Chris Ward. So hopefully see you a bit later. And Matthew and I will be back this evening for the first round of the championship, 7 o'clock tonight.
Looking forward to that. Is who's playing in there? Is Michael Adams playing in there?
Let's just have a look.
So I think it should. I think.
Do you want to share your screen for a moment on? If you just click
absolutely, absolutely. Let's do that.
Excellent. Oh, I've just seen Mark Hebden's playing. That's really nice.
Oh, lovely. So we've got so far we've got Michael Adams, Brandon Clark, Keith Arkle, Mark Hebden, Bogdan Lalic, Yichin Han, Jonathan Blackburn, Harry Grieve, Chris Duncan, lots of the familiar suspects, Peter Finn. Oh yeah, Mohammed Ayan Ismail. Oh, sorry, is it Ayan Ismail Mohammed? Paul Dargan, Jonathan Payne, Arjun Kalani is playing. Who else? We've got Edison Xu, who we've seen, Theo Cowrie, Toshiko Aurora, Frederick Gordon, Olga Latipova we've seen quite often. And,
I don't know Olga Latipova.
Do you think so? Isn't she? I thought she was a junior.
Maybe. Yeah, she is, but I've never seen her.
Slow Sloth, 26.
Okay.
Always remember the name there. And then also Gerasimos Giakos, who we've seen a lot in recent things. Amir Abbas playing, and of course I've missed out quite a few players, but you get the idea. Nice nice set of players here with obviously Michael Adams at the top there. So going to be great.
Excellent. So we'll see you at 7 o'clock tonight for that, and 1 o'clock for John and Chris a bit later. So,
brilliant. Okay.
Brilliant.
Thanks very much
for watching.